Hello, my name is Kyle Suttie, and here I'm presenting my final project for Game Tools class, which is a deathmatch map in Lyra. So yeah, we're using Unreal 5.0 here, and using the Lyra tools, I built a multiplayer team deathmatch. It is a 2 versus 2 map with 6 different spawns. But yeah, I'll just do a playthrough and then explain it. So yeah, I used a lot of this Stylized Egypt pack, which I had used before. And I like the idea of these opposing pyramids. That most of the spawns are actually in the pyramids. And yeah, I played around with some teleportals that'll teleport you around the map kind of randomly. Got to the other side there. So yeah, we've got some fun verticality. The pyramids aren't super explorable. There's these couple little corridors here. Some health packs back in the safety of the spawn. So I'm getting attacked here. So yeah, there's some walls here, some windows. This guy's gonna come. So yeah, we're playing around with some statues and theming, obviously. But yeah, aside from these 2 pyramids, yeah, the other big set features here are these little tomb areas up here, which also have some teleportals. You can see there's one across the way there. Yeah, we've got some bouncy pads set up. We've got some weapons around you can find. Yeah, so looking underneath these tombs, we've got some indoor sort of tight corridors area. Yep, build up all these walls and everything. We've got a machine gun here. Let's see, coming out of here. Yeah, another big set piece I have is this middle area. I kind of wanted an area that went down and played with the line of sight of the level. Also to obscure the spawn points from each other so you can't just shoot right into the spawn locations, which are across from each other. So yeah, in the middle, we've got this sort of down tomb area down here. Some sort of tight corridors gameplay, as well as some jump pads to fool around with. But we've got kind of a weapon up there. Yeah, so I put a special weapon that spawns up there. It's like, I don't know what it's been, the net shooter or something, but it was like the best weapon at the beginning. So it's the only spawn on the map, so it's sort of this neutral desired location. Which you have to use these jump pads to kind of get to. Oh, wow. See some interesting elements. Because there's some windows here, people can definitely see through and play with line of sight there. Okay, yeah, anyways. Jump pad, dash, aw. Anyways, I promise I would have gotten the gun. It's a little tricky, but yeah, fun. It makes you vulnerable, which was the point. So playing with verticality, I also built out some bridge parts here. So alongside up here, we can get some weapons. These bridges kind of make you vulnerable, but there are some rewards. There's like a machine gun up here and a health pack, as well as a little area that does have some cover you can play with and kind of get a nice look down on people up. Cool. So yeah, other features, we have these jump pads, which will kind of get you right up there as well. It's just kind of fun to be able to jump up here. Yeah, lastly, I want to show off the unique feature that I added with a trigger. So we have these walls here that kind of give some line of sight and some protection. I added a few triggers on the ground that will actually rotate these walls when the player steps on them. It rotates at 30 degrees at a time. And you can also swap, see, you can move the wall around to just get the right angle of protection that you want there. Oop, and I still died. These bots are vicious. Anyways. Yeah, you see the bot actually moved it there, didn't he? Yep, there's one on both sides. The level has some symmetry to it. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but yeah, you can definitely adjust these, move them to whichever way the line of sight is going to afford you. This gives you a nice corridor to see where the enemies come, or you can have some protection around. But yeah, that'll turn it clockwise, and this one will turn it counterclockwise. So yeah, showing off a little bit of the code there. Stop playing editor. Yeah, so we go to our blueprint here, and I'm, again, sure this is spaghetti and could be done much easier. But yeah, so we just have the trigger boxes, which were those buttons down here. There's a sphere on each one. On overlap, we set a variable, which is the initial rotation of that wall. Then we go into a timeline where we spin the wall, yeah, that 30 degrees over about 1 second. With a little bit of smoothness there. And then we add that into a rotator where we combine the initial rotation of the wall, whichever angle it was at to begin with, plus 30 degrees on the z-axis, the yaw. And then those will be added to set the rotation of the wall's new rotation point. So yeah, we just repeated that 4 times for the 4 different triggers. And then on the two different triggers, we reverse them. So this is the clockwise trigger, and we have a counterclockwise trigger. Yeah, just a simple little thing I wanted to add. On a second draft of this level, I would play with this technique more. I kind of just finished the level by making it. But yeah, on a revision, I might play with making it flat and making like sort of a seesaw element where like maybe a ramp would lead up to sort of where this rare weapon is, but you could trigger that it would tilt the opposite direction. I don't know, something in the middle with some neutral verticality there. So yeah, we have some jump spawns, just some objects. I would also populate the map a bit more with decorations. I didn't just quite have time to do all that after building everything out by hand. But I had a ton of fun, and I learned a tremendous amount, especially about learning on working on a already built project instead of starting with a project from scratch. You know, we had the entire Lyra package here, as well as the plugins for the shooter content. So that's what I really wanted to get, was a good experience starting with someone else's game and that already has all these working effects and elements, and then using those tools to learn how to build my own level in it and then make all the things work. So yeah, let me show where those spawns are. Yeah, we have teleporters there that are randomized. There's a player spawn. So in each of these sort of tombs, a player will spawn, and then there's a third random spawn here, sort of in this corner area. Gives the players with that start several options. They can like sort of run towards the middle of the map and go for that gun. They can run over towards here where there's some safety, and then run around and find some weapons here, find some upgrades and weapons. This is a neutral weapon here that players could just, kind of sprint to get. And yeah, blocking off some of the areas as well, so you can't just see everything on the whole map. Everywhere you kind of look, there's something sort of blocking your vision, so you'd have to maneuver to get the best angle. Up from up here, you could shoot down to that middle area, kind of. But from around here, I also made sure that the spawns couldn't quite see each other and just shoot right away. I mean, there's a little angle there, but which makes it kind of fun. But there's objects that are sort of blockading this the vision there. So yeah, anyways, it's a typical deathmatch level, some good verticality with these bridges and a lower section in the middle. A mistake I definitely made was using the natural ground here as my ground, because it didn't allow me to dig down underneath this section very easily without breaking up this ground piece and making it several tiles. And I had already built like some of my level with this ground level. So it makes it kind of interesting, right? It's not quite symmetrical because one side sort of has a bit of a high ground while the other side comes down a bit. But if I were to do this again, I might start by making my own ground tiles, so then I could maybe build down and build an underground tomb layer, which I could still do here, obviously, but it just became a little bit more of a hassle than I was ready to try and figure that out this time. So yeah, this is the verticality I played with and the level I made. Yeah, really happy with it. Learned an absolute ton. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.